Ladies and gentlemen, this is your most popular TV show all over the country, Education Exchange from Channel 21 and Channel 18, and it's my privilege and honor tonight to welcome Dr. Chase Ramey. You met Dr. Chase Ramey last year, once or twice, and he was described to me by one of the audience, the guy who runs the business with a smile. So Chase Ramey is the Chief Human Resources Officer at the Iowa City Community School District. Former lawyer and still with a law degree, as well as a PhD in education. Chase, we welcome you here tonight.
Thanks, Hani.
And I have about 500 questions for you, so get ready.
Let's get started then.
Where do I start? First of all, I heard about this idea of yours and your team in the district, Iowa City School District, and it's called Iowa City Community School District Hero. So can you tell me, before we get into the rough stuff, what is that?
We're going to get in the rough stuff. Let's talk about this for as long as possible then, Connie. Be an ICCSD hero. It's something that was developed by our overall leadership team as an idea for a theme for the year. We've been looking at ways to focus in on positive pieces of climate and culture, not just for our students, but also for our staff, our administrators, everybody in the Iowa City District community. And as we were looking at planning our back-to-school event this year, one of the things we did is we expanded it from our certified staff to all employees in the school district because we thought it was important to let everybody have an opportunity to come together at the beginning of the year to help set a positive tone for the school year and to show really the value that we place on every single person that's involved in the school district. And as we were working through that, we thought, okay, well, we should have a theme not only for this day, but also one that we think can carry on, transcend the school year. And we brainstormed a little bit, Kate Moreland and some others and I, and we came up with Be an ICCSD Hero. And really the idea behind it is that no matter what you do, you can be a hero to our kids. And every day, whether that's in the classroom, whether that's on the bus, whether that's after school program or in the lunchroom, everybody can make a difference in the life of a child. And so Be an ICCSD Hero was our way of saying, you know what, this is something that we all do, and we do it in large ways, but we also do it in small ways every day. And no matter how we do it, our kids appreciate it. And so it's just something to remember, look, this is what we're here for. We're here for our students, and every day we make a difference in their lives. And so we think that everybody is an ICCSD hero, including you. And I should have brought you one of our T-shirts, but I forgot it tonight, so I'll have to get one for you.
The next show, I'll be a real hero, for sure. It will be my honor to join this effort. Let me ask you, are you planning the whole year experience or just a couple of months?
We're trying. We haven't really planned a lot of formal events around it, but we've partnered with as things that schools want to do. We've partnered with the foundation. The foundation gives out the Shine Awards, and we're cooperating with them this year and kind of doing a Shine Like a Hero, kind of a variation. And so making it a way to carry that theme throughout what we do. And so it's not something formal where there'll be something every month, but looking for it in informal ways to catch staff members in the act of doing something that stands out. It's great, and try to recognize them for those things. And so it's not about events. It's about creating that culture, that idea of what it means to be part of our organization and how people interact on a daily basis.
So I can predict or expect that at one time you may be able to bring us here some of the heroes and introduce them to our audience.
Most definitely.
This would be a very good program too.
I would love to do that. I mean, we have folks that just do some amazing things, and I think it's important for us to pause and recognize those efforts because we don't say it enough. I mean, we know our staff, both certified and classified, are there just working day and night for our kids, and we don't pause enough to say thank you for all that you do and to recognize those efforts, because without our staff, our kids wouldn't be where they are.
The Office of Human Resources in Iowa City Community School District has had always a very good reputation. And in this respect, I am trying to go back with memory to your predecessors. starting with Helen Walton, followed by Anne Feldman, and Peterson, Mr. Peterson, and then you. But each one of you had a different style of running this business, because you have different experience and different backgrounds. So if you have to describe your style in running human resources, which is mainly dealing with personnel, and in this case you are dealing with them not only on the basis of their professional careers and aspirations and development, but their character development, their psychology, their personal problems. So give me a little description of Chase Ramey's style in dealing with staff.
Well, hopefully what you led with at the beginning of it, usually being with a smile, is something that permeates how people think of me, that I try to approach things and usually in an upbeat manner, which in human resources isn't always the easiest because we deal with some pretty sticky things every once in a while, but try to be positive and see it as supportive. I mean, our role, as I tell my team and we tell others, is not just to make sure people come to work, but they enjoy being at work and that they want to be part of what we're doing on a daily basis. But in terms of my leadership style and how I approach our work, is I really try to take a systems view, because we have, over 2,000 employees of, full-time, part-time employees in the district that we have to make sure that we're taking care of and we're meeting those needs. And so I look at ways that we can approach it from a macro system level expectation at first blush, because we want to make sure that we are encapsulating all different components of our district when we're making decisions and we're looking at things, so we don't just get bogged down in one area. But at the same time, you have to be patient enough to recognize that every situation inside that system is going to be different, and because we're dealing with individuals, we're dealing with their lives, and so try to take that an approach that's kind of in a dichotomy of being able to look at the broad systems view, but having the understanding to know that every situation inside that's going to be different, and so not being too rigid, knowing that there's a lot of gray area. That's my law background, right? It's never black and white, it's always gray, so we just live in the gray. And while it's a school district, it's an organization, it's a business, it's also truly about people, and so making sure that we always recognize it's not just about what they're doing in the classroom, on the clock, under contract as an employee, but people's personal satisfaction on the personal side of life is just important. So make sure we recognize that balance, the work-life balance, and helping make sure that we provide opportunities for our staff members to keep healthy in both aspects of their life, or all aspects of their life.
Recently, I know this was just not prepared, these questions, but you know me, I trap my guests always, and it's no surprise to our audience. Recently, there have been a lot of research and conflicting ideas among educational writers in education leadership and other publications about the style of administration, especially in your area, and the model of the assembly line that's coming back now, revived in certain areas of the country, not necessarily here, and the corporate Ford style and all that, and the scientific methodology, whatever you call it. But there are a lot of conversations about how do you run your business. Is it a corporate way of doing things, or it is totally different? Do you run educational policy and planning and changes according to the rules of corporation and business, or totally different? What do you think as a leader in this area?
I think that with most things, and I don't even pretend to have the right answer or to think that there's actually one out there, but it has to be somewhere in the middle. These are educational institutions. Our business is serving kids, is educating children. It's not building cars, it's not an assembly line, and you can't take the ones that aren't working and just, get rid of them, discard them, right? We serve all the kids, and we do so to the best of our ability every day. And so I think you have to keep that in perspective in terms of really what our purpose is, and that's to serve students, to help make sure students grow. But you can't ignore the fact that education also has a business component to it. Iowa City, Community School District has a budget over $100 million. As I mentioned earlier, we have over 2,000 employees.
Do you carry this when you walk? They are here.
Do what?
Do you carry all these millions with you?
Yes, I do. Yes, yes. I'm asked all the time. Can you just give it a little more? No, I leave that to our CFO. I just deal with the people. I let them deal with the money. Makes it much easier for me. But there are some components of it that we have to treat like a business to make sure that we're being true to our community, that we're being good stewards of not only the human resources and their kids, their most precious resources they give us, but also good stewards of their financial resources, and that we're doing the things in the most efficient and effective way possible to make sure that kids have the opportunity to learn. And so it's somewhere in that middle. We can't ignore those business components. We can't let those business components, those business ideals, drive what we do, especially when what should be driving us is doing what's best for kids.
My intentions, and I'm speaking with you, but listening to myself, speaking aloud, my intention was actually to go back and ask you about the new time clock system, or new time clock plus.
Mm-hmm.
Does this give you a feeling more of a corporate, let us say, taste to the kind of business we're running? Maybe you start by explaining.
Sure. That's so. The time. Thank you. I appreciate that. And the Time Clock Plus system is an electronic time clock system that we've moved to in the district starting this fall, and it provides us the opportunity to allow our employees to register when they get to work in the morning and then when they leave at the end of the day. And we've tracked employee time because we have to for a long time. We've just moved to a different way of doing it. And so when you ask, is it more corporate? Not necessarily a more corporate approach. I think that some people see it that way, more organized, right? And really, I think more than anything, it's a change in culture, which that's basically what you're asking me. Yeah. But it's not so much a change or a new practice. It's just a change in the way we've done our practice. And so the biggest piece for me is, again, that climate and culture piece, explaining the change and making sure that employees know why we're doing it, which it has its roots, and I should probably state that as well, as some of the changes that are coming down with the Affordable Care Act, and the way that employers and school districts are not exempt need to be able to show, if they were ever asked from the federal government, the hours of their employees. And so this was something that we weren't out looking to do. I mean, I wasn't out after 1 year being like, what, I don't have enough to do, so let me see what I can add to my plate. That's not what we were doing, but it was something that we want to comply with the law, and we think that's obviously important. And the Affordable Care Act said there was this new mandate, and we felt this was the best way, the most efficient and effective way for us to comply with this piece of that. And so that's really the reason why we're doing it. And I think it's important because, again, it goes back to that climate and culture and that shift. Change is hard for everybody, no matter if it's big or small. And so making sure that we let our employees know that they're valued, that this wasn't a way for us to keep tabs on them, this wasn't the point of it, that this was something we just needed to do for compliance purposes, and that everyone is still very valued in our organization. And we think there are some benefits of it because it'll make sure that we show the value to our employees every day, make sure that we're compensating them accordingly for every hour they spend in our buildings. And this allows us as a new mechanism to do that. And so I don't see it as much of a change in business practice wholesale as it is just a variation of what we've done in the past. And so that piece hasn't been the one that keeps me up. The one that keeps me up is, okay, is this going to have a negative impact on the culture of our buildings, which we don't want. We want it to be positive. We want it to be seamless and something behind the scenes. And so that's where we focused our efforts with the rollout.
Of course, it's kind of transition to the digital age.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now everything is digitalized, and we cannot just rely on the secretary signing the sheet, at the end of the day. Yes, you completed.
Well, our secretaries are one group of people that have a lot of work to do, and they're great.
And this will relieve them
that's part of the hope.
burden, right?
That's right. That's right. They've got enough other things to do that if we can make some of their tasks a little bit easier, we should be doing that so they can really focus on some of those other things. They're a great group of employees, and they're just one of the many groups that's affected by this. And hopefully, the secretaries and all other folks that are using the new time clock system will see some long-term benefits from the system.
Dr. Ramey, I don't imply at all that I heard anything negative. In the media, we always receive the negative before the positive.
Of course.
But whether in our newspaper work or in TV or radio, I didn't hear anything negative about it yet.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you. And don't get me wrong, it's like you said, all change is difficult, and it's not without its growing pains, but our staff has been great at being patient and working through us as we work through this. We've got great administrators who are helping implement as well, and it's going to take us a while to get there, but like I said, I think we're on the right track. It's just like anything else, it can be a little rough at the beginning sometimes.
Well, when you mentioned rough before I did, so let me get to the rough part.
Now the hard questions are coming. That was the setup. Good.
Hardcore, yeah. And mainly the Affordable Care Act, which I cannot claim that I understand it very well. I tried, I failed. I tried again, I failed again. But I have to be honest with you. I mean, this is, of course, this is not really an opinion forum. But it is very important for me to see how this is going to affect the teachers and the administrators who are serving the kids. Not necessarily this is positive, this is negative, but when this is going to take place and how.
Some of those guidelines, those timelines are still up in the air, and there's different pieces that are rolling out at different times. There's been some delays, and when certain portions of the law are going to take effect, and so we're still working through a lot of those pieces, working with some of our external partners that are much more versed in the Affordable Care Act than I am. I won't say that I know all about it. I'm working closely internally with our CFO, who keeps a close handle on this, and also we're working with our unions, our teachers' unions, our custodial, our physical plant union, because they also know there's going to be effects there. And so we're not trying to do it in a vacuum or in a silo. We're trying to bring all the folks to the table that we think it's going to affect, at least the leadership or some representation from those groups, so we can start looking at how what those effects might be and how it's going to do that. And so it'd be premature for me to tell you right now exactly what we think the effects are going to be. We know there's going to be some, but to say exactly what those are, I'd be kind of speculating a little bit. The one we've talked about is Time Clock Plus, because of the 30-hour rule that's in the law in terms of tracking employee time, whether it's over 30 hours a week or below 30 hours a week, and so that's one of the effects we've seen. But beyond that, right now we're like everybody else. We're feeling our way through it. It's not just us, it's school districts around, it's the university, it's other businesses. We're all kind of trying to figure out how it's going to play out, and so we're doing the best we can to stay current on where the law is, and we'll implement what we need to implement. But again, it's one of those things that's ancillary to the work of our business, which is educating kids. And so folks like myself and the CFO, we take care of some of these things behind the curtain so that out in front of the classrooms, our teachers can teach, our leaders can lead in the buildings, and they don't feel the effects of those things there. That's one of the roles that we play on that operations side.
You have in your audience today a very talented teacher here, Jenna Spearing from
Northwest
Junior High, and you have
Lucas Ptacek, one of our assistant principal, or
so
assistant principal also at Northwest. They are, yes, but and representative of just the great employees that we have here in the district. I mean, going above and beyond what they need to do, right? They're here to speak with you this evening.
And because they are here, I just want to mention something that I had the intention to talk about earlier in your style, is the fact that one of your primary goals since you took this office over. It was how to build a very good relationship with teachers in particular. Because there is no doubt there's some kind of, not necessarily tension, but sensitivity as far as the relationship between educators in classroom and the administrators in the office. And how did you come up with the formula? Now, it's very peaceful. I see you are very good friends with the teachers, with the association. Talk to me about this a little bit.
Well, it's not something that happens overnight. You have to start cultivating those relationships. And the way you do that, I think, is by being honest and being upfront. What you see is what you get. You've seen me at the office and other forums, and this is kind of who I am. And I think that goes a long way when you're genuine. When you don't hide things, and keeping them informed, keeping our teachers informed of what's going on, whether that's me directly to them or through the representatives of the teachers union, to making sure that they know where we're headed and what tough decisions we have to make. And in an odd way, I think being able to make tough decisions when they come. People oddly enough, kind of respond sometimes, even if it's not something they like. They're like, okay, well, at least a decision's being made and we can move forward, but they want to know why. And so it's being responsive, making sure that union's at the table when we have these conversations about where we're going, and listening. That's the main thing. I spent a lot of time this last year listening, and will continue to listen, because it's an important component of what we do in human resources, is making sure that we're responding to what we hear from everyone that's out there actually doing the hard work in our district, and what we can do to make that better.
Well, and I think you have requested that you are going to have guests in your next show, and you are going to bring the leadership of the teachers union.
Yes,
right?
Ben Mosier and Andy Gann are going to come and join me when we get together again. So that'll be entertaining. It'll be fun. Those guys, they're great teachers, and they're great leaders for
It's a great
the
initiative,
union.
No doubt about that.
They had big shoes to fill with Tom Yates, because Tom was a great advocate for the teachers, and they've done a nice job stepping in there. And
It's a
and
different
over.
style again. I mean, Ben Mosier is a very subtle, slow, kind of quiet designer, planner. Tom was a little, fierce
And
and
Andy's
kind
more
of
like, Andy's like me. He likes to
sanguine,
smile.
yeah, kind of, yeah.
Andy likes to smile, and
Yeah.
and so we get along.
Let me, I was reading something about your plans for wellness fair.
Sure.
What is that?
So we've talked a lot about climate and culture tonight, and which I think is great, because it's an important piece. And the wellness fair is one of those components. We actually had it this last week at West High School. We thought it was a success. Over 200 employees stopped by the fair. We had about somewhere between 30 and 35 different vendors from around the area that their business has to do with some component of wellness. Our PE teachers were gracious enough to come and set up the physical fitness test that they give in the elementary school for employees to do, which they made me do, which was told me I need to go back to the gym on a more regular basis, but that's okay. But it was fun. But it's something that we've done in the last 2 years, and we want to continue to do it, because health and wellness of staff is important to that wanting to come to work and being happy when you're at work. And so we're trying to look at things that we can do in that avenue to increase that enjoyment of the part of the job. And so we do the wellness fair in the fall. We do health screenings that are free of charge to our staff in the spring. We do a blood drive. Just all examples of our commitment to the health of our staff. And it's something that started out pretty small, but we hope it grows every year, and we have more and more participation from organizations inside the Iowa City area, because again, it's another service that we can provide to our staff, to let them see what some of those other organizations are that out there that might be able to meet some of their needs in their personal lives.
Well, this was a very delightful conversation with you. And is there anything you want to tell our audience? You have a couple minutes. to talk to our audience about the future.
Oh no! You should never give me the open mic to Lucas knows. Lucas in the back going, oh my! He just gave him that
Steve Merrily
opportunity.
said I have to take care of you, and that's why I'm asking you this question.
Oh,
As far as like, are you planning to hire new teachers? What's in step?
Well, we're very excited about the future in the school district, and there's been a lot of talk about the facilities master planning process, and that's still high on our radar of things outside the classroom and how we're going to shape the educational environments for the district over the next 10 years, which I think that's very exciting.
One teacher knew that we were going to meet.
Uh-huh.
He asked me if I can ask you about merit pay. So I know.
And here goes the controversy.
Yeah. So what's the deal there? I mean,
Merit pay. It's one ideology about how we should compensate staff. It's taken hold in some areas of the nation, not so much here. We haven't had a lot of conversations
right.
about it here in Iowa City. I've not heard a lot of outcry of saying people want us to bring merit pay here to the district,
Yeah.
and so there's no immediate plans for us to go down that avenue. Our teachers work hard. All of our employees work hard, and so we want to compensate them accordingly. But I'm not sure that one's in the cards anytime
Ramey,
soon.
that has been a delightful interview. Thank you very much, and we
Anytime.
are looking forward to see you again. And this program, of course, is going to be Monday at 7 o'clock during dinner time on Channel 18. That is Public Access TV, who hosts our program, provide us with all this facility, and thank the administration here for doing this on a regular basis throughout the whole year. And in the meantime, we are on Education Channel pretty much every night. I see myself a lot. I see my hats a lot every night after the board meeting.
I'll have to bring a hat next time, and we can
see,
just both
yeah.
wear one.
Thank you very much again.
Always enjoyable, honey.
Always welcome to our program. Thank you, Mr. John Karoff, Mike Peterson, Josh Godding, Jason, and the administration of Public Access TV. And ladies and gentlemen, parents and kids, have a very wonderful, good night. Welcome to Education Exchange, #1 education program in the world and in the United States of America. I'm your host, Hani Al-Qadi. It's a very special night to host Northwest Junior High School in Iowa City. With me is Assistant Principal Lucas Pitacek.
Always great to be here, Hani.
Nice to see you, sir. And the rising star, who is a teacher, librarian, media specialist, all of the above, Jenna Spearing.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for coming, and it's a very special night because, of course, I have to be honest. I have a kid that goes to your school, so I'll try to be as nice as I can. I'm not nice most of the time, but you are doing a wonderful job there.
Thank you very much.
And I see you pretty much every day. I'm an eyewitness of a successful story, and you came to us very well known for achieving a lot of things. And I know that the leader of the school, the very brilliant Greg Schultz, Dr. Schultz, had decided that you would represent the whole school tonight, and he wanted to express his gratitude for all the work that you're doing. So I'm conveying this to you. And in the meantime, he wanted to shed a light on one of the very successful teachers, librarians in your school, and that's Jenna. So I would let you first start before we introduce Jenna officially to our audience in Iowa City.
Well, I'd like to thank you tonight for letting us be here, Hani. I can't believe it. We're almost at midterm here in the first trimester. It seems just a couple days ago we started getting ready for the school year with teachers coming back, and we're a sixth of the way into the school year, and it's hard to believe. Every year we start off with half of our building being new to the school, half being returners. So we couldn't have asked for a better start to our school year. We're actually having our second night of parent-teacher conferences this Wednesday, so it's nice to see those parents. We're finishing up our first sports season here on Wednesday, so we're right in full swing of the school year.
And you were with us last year on this program, and does it feel different, your second year now?
It certainly feels a lot different. Last year you're trying to keep yourself above water. Everything's new, so you really don't know what to relate it to other than your past experiences in different buildings. Obviously, relating to kids and kids' stories, those are the same each and every single year. But it's nice having that year under your belt, so you have more of a familiarity with your teachers and with the staff, and also with the district. So, of course, this year it's going much better. But I can't believe how quick it's going.
I know there are a lot of success stories at your school, and many, many achievements of the teachers there, and many projects, and new advents every single day. But Dr. Schultz and you decided to introduce Jenna tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
We're very excited, and we're blessed to have a district that's giving us a lot of capabilities as far as giving us the equipment and the technology to do and to keep our kids up to speed with what's going on in the world. And there's no better person in our building as far as expressing and explaining the technology that not only our students are using on a daily basis, but just how much our teachers are utilizing it each and every single day in the classroom to keep kids intrigued, to keep them entertained, but also to educate them on a daily basis. And Jenna does a wonderful job each and every single day working with the kids from the time she gets there till the time she leaves, but also spending just as much time helping our staff out.
Jenna, look at the camera now and tell people who you are, where did you come from, and all that.
So I'm Jenna Spearing. I started working at Northwest last year, so I'm just starting my second year, relatively new. And I finished my master's in library science in 2012 at the university. I had been working at North Central Junior High actually as the library secretary, which was really good experience to get to know that aspect of the job before I came to Northwest and needed to learn another side of it. So originally from Des Moines, but now I'm making a home in Iowa City and really enjoying Northwest.
Let me, I know I have a lot of things to talk about, and Lucas had provided me with a background about all the innovation and creative project that you are running now in school. Where would you like to start?
Well, I'm really excited about the ways that we're able to use technology at Northwest. We recently acquired a class set of iPad minis, and those are new this year, so we're thinking about ways to use those. But also, the district is just making our technology system a lot more robust. We have wireless in every classroom, so there's opportunities for the students to use what they already have. And I like to think about the projects that we're already doing and how we can take them into the 21st century by using some tools that are available to them both through our district and the AEA, but also just free online tools that they can use at home.
And when we talked and we prepared for this production, you mentioned that you're very systematic and methodical in the way you think. So you said that there is an area for the teachers, an area for the kids, area for the families, and you try to integrate all of them together and use the most advanced technological methods in creating this kind of integration, right? And one of the things that I was, when I was talking with Lucas about the communication between the school as an education body and homes, and the way you and Jenna communicate with parents. You use programs, very high advanced Twitter, Instagram, and all that. How this is going, and how the idea started?
A lot of educators have been using social media just because you can get to where the students and the parents are already at to get them information. I focus a lot on meeting the students where they are in social media so that I can kind of let them know about what's happening in the library. I like to use Instagram. It's really popular. Almost all the students use it. It's kind of the one you see them using when you catch them on their cell phones. And I can post a picture when I get new books or talk about a project we're doing in American Studies, and then they see it and they can talk about it and tell their families, and it's kind of like a little artifact they have from what they had done during the day. And there's so many interesting things happening outside of the classroom. And I know Lucas uses it a lot to communicate with the families.
And we obviously have the old-fashioned way of communicating, which is the newsletter that we usually send out about once a month in the mail. And by the time that gets to families, so much of that information is outdated. So there's so many different aspects that we can go to try to reach our families, because what we're always looking to do is increase communication from school to home. Obviously, we have our website, which has much of our information there. We have, we can do our Blackboard Connect phone calls or emails that we can send out to families as well. Jenna had mentioned the quickest way to connect with students and parents anymore seems to be something that they can get on their cell phone. And we have a competition kind of amongst the staff members to see how many followers you can get on your Twitter account or your Instagram. I can sadly say that I'm getting destroyed by Jenna. She has many more than I do, but it's the amount of our staff members that use it as a way either to go through a problem, to give them news as far as quiz tomorrow, make sure you study for so-and-so. We have a lot of staff that are using it so kids can just take a quick glimpse at it the night before to make sure they're on all set for the following day.
Lucas, let me ask you one question, because of course as an educator, I belong to a generation that had less use and utilization of the new technology. And we relied a lot on the one-on-one connection with the kids and the relationships. How do you keep the balance between the digitalization skills and the communication through machines uh, with the fact that you have to communicate on personal basis with your staff and your kids.
Balance is tough because there's so many different formats that you can use to relate to people. My goal is to use as many different things as possible. Somebody that doesn't have access to a computer, there's nothing more important to a parent than getting a phone call, either a phone call or an email or a letter of concern, or a letter or email or phone call of congratulations. Just doing that today, a short email or a short note to a parent, goes a long ways. But it's you can easily do that to try to contact and connect on an individual basis. But when you're trying to connect to the masses, it's how many different ways can I get to them? And we try, and Dr. Schultz and I do as much as possible as far as sending or taking pictures at sporting events. Dr. Schultz tonight is at the orchestra concert, and he videotapes. It's amazing the amount of work that he does videotaping not only sporting events, but every fine arts event that we eventually put on our website through our YouTube channel as well. So it's trying to connect people as much as possible, and it's figuring out whatever way you can. And if there's a way that's going to connect to a small basis in your population, then we're certainly going to try that avenue as well.
Super. It's very, very impressive. Now, talk to me about the electronic book collection that you have started there, and the fiction, non-fiction, and your. I think it's not only for the kids, but the families too.
Yeah.
Give me some.
We have, towards the end of last year and then through the summer, I acquired about 150 electronic books. A lot of them are novels. I really wanted to get a lot of materials at many different levels because I see that there's a need. A lot of our students like to read ebooks. They have a phone or an iPod Touch, and they can download books from our library onto their device and read it. And it's pretty exciting because they can check those books out all summer and in the middle of the night, or they can have a book on their phone that will read to them if they put in their headphones. So it gets to a lot of different kinds of materials. And then I also acquired quite a few copies of books about alternative energy sources and diseases, because those are two really big research units we do in the 7th and 8th grade. And we were able to get an unlimited access copies of a lot of those books. So when we begin those projects, as many students as I can get on a device will be able to read the same book at the same time. And they have an account for our collection, our online collection, and there they can check out the book, they can notate in the book just like they would a paper, and highlight and remember important things and take notes. So it's pretty exciting, and I've gotten a really good response. The kids are really excited about it. I talked to every single class at the beginning of the year about how to check them out. So it was about 25 times we did it. But it was really fun, and we got almost our entire collection checked out in about a week, and I'm still seeing that they're checking out a lot of books and downloading them.
Excellent.
And honey, it's in education, and as far as an administrator in my role, it's tough to figure out what's the balance going to be between things that we allow to school and things that we need to try to not allow to school. Obviously, technology can cause some issues and cause some problems, but I think we need to embrace what our students have. So it's not uncommon to see students with their tablets or their e-readers or their iPads here at school, because those are tools that they can easily use, and there's a ton of resources that are available to them. What we need to continue to seek for and to continue to work towards is teaching kids how to use them appropriately, and teaching them to use them when it's appropriate. And that's the biggest thing right now, is teaching kids the effectiveness of when and how they can be used.
Yeah, I like the fact that I read one time Voltaire said that treating the problems of freedom is by allowing more freedom.
Yep.
Let me now ask you about what you're doing with the teachers, because you are now dealing with curriculum, and you are trying to train teachers to be updated with all the technology. How do you orchestrate this?
Well, a big part of my job is to support the work that the teachers are doing. I don't have a class that comes to the library every day, and it's the best thing about my job is that I get to work with every single student and all of the teachers. And, you know, they can focus on the content that they need to teach in their curriculum, and then I work with them to figure out a way to integrate the technology skills and the research skills, because now students have more access to information than ever before. It's not just in books, it's online, and they can do a Google search and just be totally bombarded by information. So I'm there to try to facilitate finding the good stuff and what will help them and take them to the next level. So I do a lot of work collaborating with teachers on research projects and any other kind of classroom activity they can do. And I'm there to kind of help foster the information literacy skills and the use of technology, and then they can bring the content. And it's really exciting. We do really, really exciting projects when I get to work with the teachers for a little amount of time. We just got done doing a big project with our 8th grade American Studies, and we were researching the colonies, and then we were thinking about ways to advertise for your colony, and we ended up making online flyers. So they weren't historically accurate, but they got to use these skills and then do the research about the colonies that they have been doing for a long time, but figure out a product that kind of brings them into the 21st century.
So the old-fashioned way of posters and
Brochures.
and it's not there anymore?
No, you know, brochures are kind of, they're getting outdated. You don't see them that often. And there were a lot of projects where the students were creating brochures, and it's kind of an opportunity to use that time to teach them how to create something that's going to be seen in a virtual environment, which is something that they're looking at all the time. You know, they're on blogs and websites, and everything has a link and you can get to it. And it's important for me that they get a chance to practice publishing in those digital environments and thinking about the way the information that they're putting out there is going to be seen by a lot of people. It's not just seen by their teacher anymore. You know, it's public and it's important. So.
And to go on that, Hani, last week I went into Mr. Carlson's class, who worked with Ms. Spearing on their colonies project, and in a class with Mr. Carlson, yes, he is, 8th grade American Studies teacher, and 30, yeah, exactly, 30 kids in a classroom, each of them with their own iPads. First of all, to have a network that's, you know, that's allowing our students to all be on the same thing at the same time is great in itself, because a couple years ago we weren't able to do that. And 30 kids each have their iPad. They're working with a partner. They're each reviewing every student's or every group's project. And then they go from looking at the online newsletter to then going to Google Docs and helping grade and review each student's project. And, you know, they work together, put some comments, give it a score, and then all those things are tabulated, so it's outstanding, the different resources that they were using. And, you know, our 8th grade language arts classes were using that earlier in the year. I think now 7th grade science is in the library doing the research projects now. It's outstanding.
Well, I was lucky not to not to be teaching in your time now, because, you know, I was the only resource for the teacher. I remember, like, that social studies teachers and science teachers, they come to me in the art room and they say, well, we need a poster about this, and this is the material, can you? So I was important, and I became popular, not because I was genius, but because I was the only one who can do this, you know. So now this is good, because every teacher now has a couple of buttons. You can just press on them and everything is done. Does this include publication like school newspaper, bulletin, magazine, things like that?
It's similar. You know, I'm not working on that, but they're using the same kind of medium to do it. So we make websites, or this one was an online flyer. So it's kind of, they're learning how to do those things, and then they'll be able to figure out a way to use them in the future, hopefully.
Well, you told me when we were preparing this production that you are really looking forward to make better use of the physical space that you have. What did you mean by that? Tell the parents that are listening to us.
You know, I'm fortunate at Northwest because we have a really big space for a library and a lot of really nice collection of books and great staff. But it's the actual design of the library feels a little outdated to me, and so Dr. Schultz has been really, really supportive, and Lucas as well, of thinking about ways to re-envision the way that the space is designed. it hasn't changed a lot in the last 30 years or so. So it's time to kind of bring it into the future. Right now, it's hard to do more than one thing in there. I can't have a class in there and then have another class checking out books because of the way it's set up. But I really see a need to have a defined teaching area with computers where the students I can be teaching and working on the computers at the same time. And then maybe another area where the students are able to come in and check out books. And I think, you know, the library has changed a lot. It's not this quiet place where you just go in and get your work done quietly. And it's actually, it's about collaborating and having all the tools that you need to do that. So I envision a space that is a little different where, you know, the students would have an area that they'd be able to work together, but quiet area too for them to read independently and find what they need, but also a really, you know, a teaching space that is designed to, you know, accommodate what we're already doing.
So, I mean, the teacher can bring their kids to the library, they do their the work there. Well, that's a great idea, definitely.
I love to have classes in the library. I mean, that way we can have computers and the books and enable some freedom to work and be creative. And
this is a question that is not in our scenario here, but it has been nagging in my head since I heard about your success story in school. How do you, I just want to paraphrase it in the best way I can. Some of our kids are not as fortunate as far as their learning abilities. How do you fit your ideas of digitalization skills with special needs students?
This is something that's really important to me too, and that's what I think is really great about the library as an institution, is that it's a place where everybody comes and is on the same page. There's you know, we have the computers and we have the technology so that everybody has access to them. If students don't have access to a computer at home or internet, you know, they wouldn't be at a disadvantage because there's always time available to come to the library. We're open before school for a long time and after school for a while. We check out computers if they don't have them at home, that have the programs they need to finish their work. I like to spend time talking with the students individually and trying to find them just the right book is really important. And that's something that our electronic collection does really well, because we have these books at lots of different levels that they're able to get to, and there's no stigma attached with choosing something that's at a lower level or you know, something that's an easy book, because everybody doesn't see it the same way. It's just on the same device. So I think that's the greatest thing about the library. It's like a equal place where everybody can get to everybody has the same access to the resources there.
And your idea of collaboration is extremely important. And they help each other so much. Any personal news, breaking news?
Well, it's not necessarily new and breaking news, but I know you had talked to Chase beforehand, but yes, I got engaged over the summer, and thank you very much, to a wonderful lady. She is actually a para in the College Community District, and she's going back to school to get her master's degree in special ed here at the U. So she's going to eventually be in the field of education along with me, so we can share the horror and the wonderful stories together. So very excited about that. But we have a date scheduled for next summer, so we're extremely excited.
We expect your kitchen table to be a conference table, huh?
Exactly. There'll be conferences every single evening. Exactly.
How about you?
Nothing new on the horizon for me.
Yeah.
Other than you're going back to school again.
I just started at the
plans
university working on my PhD, so I'm really excited about that. And I'm studying literacy and language literacy and culture, so it's really an important field, and it's really making it's a dynamic connection between what I'm doing at school and what I'm doing.
So this will be your PhD area of research. It's so much. So you are starting already to collect data from your work.
Oh, not yet. I just started, but it's in I'm working on it.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Just started with my coursework, so.
Yeah. Well, is there anything you want to tell parents at the conclusion of this wonderful, wonderful
You know,
meeting?
one thing we send out to our parents is for them to get involved in their students, not be afraid necessarily of the social media that they're using, but take part in it. Learn what they're using it for, and teach them how to use it responsibly, because the phones that they have are small computers, and where kids anymore don't have laptops or don't have desktops, they have those phones, and it's a great resource and tool, and we just all need to continue to teach them how to use them effectively.
I just want to say one thing that I have to mention, that the 36 mini iPads, you bought it from the money that you collected from selling the magazines, right?
Yeah, our school
Which is
fundraiser.
a wonderful thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you didn't have a special budget, you didn't go or request for the district, you didn't hammer somebody to pay you or looking for a grant. Effort by kids and families.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody feels that that's their work. And I think it's a good chance for us to tell parents to help in this program, because selling magazines is not a bad idea at all, because everybody can find something. I remember last night we were sitting saying, how about, I said, well, I need Smithsonian, I need Art News. And my daughter said, oh, it's on the list here. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
it's easy to get kids to buy into it and see the reason why we ask them to do it when they have a $300 or $400 piece of equipment in their hands, or they're wearing a new sport or athletic uniform. So we just finished up today, but we're certainly collecting orders throughout the year. They can do it online. We have a link on our website. But yeah, it's easy for kids to see the importance in doing it when they use the resources every day.
well, that was so intriguing, and I'm so happy. And I'm sure parents and our audience are so happy. Our great success at Northwest Junior High is eminent and very clear. And thanks to your efforts, and give our best to your leader there, Dr. Schultz, and we wish you all the best. At the conclusion of this program, we are going to be on Monday at 7 o'clock. Dinner time, so the whole family can watch your show on channel 18, Public Access TV. Thanks to the people in Public Access TV for giving us the studios, the lights, the new technology. We have new cameras, high definition. We have voice, new system. Thanks to Michael Peterson, our director, co-producer, with John Karhoff, the big guy here. And on behalf of everybody, I appreciate you coming here. We are going to be on YouTube as well as, of course, on the Education Channel pretty much every night. We'll repeat and repeat until you don't want to see it anymore.
Always a pleasure being here,
Thank you very
Ramey.
much,
Thank you.
and thank you, our audience, and have a very good